Hello friends, so today we will see how to show the empty state message or empty state pop-up where we don't have the data in our tableau diagram for the particular charts. So sometimes we run into the condition where we don't have the data for particular time period or particular selection criteria. Like in this, if I select April 23, so for this month I have no data for my dashboard and I get a blank dashboard. There is no message, no warning or no pop-up that the data is not present or it is a no data condition. So we will see how to solve it and how we can show a pop-up like this, no data to show, or you can write something like something related, more related here. So we will see how to do that. So to achieve this condition, to achieve this condition, I have excluded these months from the data source filter in the Tableau dashboard, and I am using sample supercell file which have data from 2021 to 2024 for all the months. But I have modified it to hide this, to exclude these months from in the data source filter. So I'll show you what I mean by that. So if I take here a list of months and sales, and then I'll do. So you will see after January, February, March, April. So there is May is missing here. So like that, many more months are missing from the below list. So how to show that? We will see show missing values. So now you can see that for in the 2021 May value is missing. For the 21 July is missing again. Then February 22 is missing. So I have excluded these values from the data source filter. Like you can see it here. I have excluded them manually to show the empty states for those particular selected periods. Okay, so now we don't need this sheet actually. Oh, sorry. Yes, so we don't need that sheet. And then, so first thing is we will create our chart or our visual, which we need to show for the selected month. So for that, we obviously have to create a parameter using the months, a list of month and year. So I think maybe you know already how to create that. If no, then you can check in my another video how to create this list from your order date field. So I have created this parameter where you can select all the month and year here. So this is actually this contain every month. It is not missing any months here. And then we have to create a CY filter field to filter out the data for current selected parameter only. So for that we will take date trunk to the month level of order date and we'll match it with the parameter. And when this is true, our our data will show for that particular selected period. So that is our first chart. You can create any visual with your logic. I mean, there can be multiple charts in your dashboard, and you can play with that. Then we will create empty state or a message logic to show this show this thing no data to show. So first thing is when we decide to show the no data or this thing, so we have to decide the criteria for that. What is the no data to show? So sometime in our table we get the zero values. Like for some months I may have zero sales, but that row is present in my data, my baseline data. So that so sometime according to the business logic that is not an empty state, that is a zero sales for that month. But suppose I'm missing some particular month entirely from my data set. Like in our case, for May 21 there is no row in my data set. There is for the July 21 there is no rows, and it goes for all these months. So it means it is entirely missing from my entirely missing from my data set. So for those months only I have to show this, that no data to show. So for that, first when we decide the criteria on what basis we have to show, then we have to select a particular field, a unique field, like a primary key in our dataset. On what basis we have to show that there are no sales, or there are no orders, there is no transaction, like that. So in the sample superstore case, order ID is our unique key. So based on this order ID, I have created my business logic that if order ID is not there, then in that month there are no orders, or it is not present in my dataset. But if for a month like order is there and sales value is zero, then it is not a valid no data condition. So for to achieve this, I have created a field like this. So in this field, first we have to consider the our time frame. Like if CY filter is true, then we have to show the order ID for those particular fields. Whether there is zero sales also, so we have to show them. We have to consider them into our condition. That is our business logic. So in this if part, we are creating that condition. So along with CY filter here, it is a simple condition, like I am taking only date rank of month and matching it with the parameter. But CY condition can be anything complex on based on your logic. So that's why we have to include it here in the formula itself. It is a good practice to include CY and date filters into the formula itself, into the calculation, instead of having it on the filter window. I mean the filter block here. So in the if part, we will get order ID for those particular period. Then we will take count distinct of that, and then we will replace the null values with zero with zn function. So some users might get confused that I have not written like true here, but in the case of true, it is actually not needed. You don't need to write it here. That is a simple tip. If you want to show a true only for the field, for a boolean field, then you can simply put the field here, field name anywhere. So this field gives us distinct count of user IDs for the selected period, and if there are no null values, then it will replace by zero. So you have to consider that. I mean, again, I am treating that if there is order ID but sales are zero, then this is not a valid condition. It will This condition is valid only for there are no order IDs at all present for the selected criteria. Then we will do okay. So this is our formula. Then we have to simply write a message in our text mark. I can write anything here, like I have written no data to show. I can write empty data set. So anything you can write anything here and make it as a text. In the marks also you have to select the text. It is not necessary to select this as a text, but it is good practice to select it. Then we have to make uh, add it to the condition. So we will add our no data filter to the filter window. Then we will select at most option and we will set it to 0. So at most means when this field having maximum value is 0, only then it will show. We will hit apply and OK. And if we as soon as we set it to March, this will disappear, because now for the month of March, there are some order IDs, and the count is not 0, it is more than 0. So that's why this condition is false. We can do it via range of values also. We have to put, if you want to set some range, like if 5 orders are there, then I have to show that no data or something like that, some condition in some other way, then you can do that also. But for my condition, 0 is okay. Select that. Then if I go to April, it is showing. Then then we have to go to the dashboard and we have to place the sheets accordingly. So for this, if I show the layout option, so this top and bottom container I have kept it open. Like you can put another charts here into your dashboard. There may be another charts which have data or which is not related, where you don't need to show no data pop-up or empty data set pop-up. So that's why you can place those sheets here. I mean that's the designing part or UI part you can say. And this is our main container where we have put the sheet. So this is the title. So actually I have prepared the title sheet also to show the month here in the title itself. So it's better not to use default sheet titles in the dynamic condition. It's better to use the separate sheet for titles. I'll come back to that logic in a bit. Like selected month, history. Then then we have to put our sheet. This is our main sheet actually. So we have to put our main sheet here. Then we have to put our no data sheet below that. So actually, if you don't pack this whole thing in a container, then it will not work like this. You have to pack this thing into a container. Also, you can use floating also to show the no data message, but then you have to keep the background as blank, and you have to manage the floatings accordingly. Because if you keep the floating on the top, then these items will not be clickable. Some items of the bar chart will not be clickable. So it's better to try to arrange it in a tiled container only. So here I have made it in a tiled container. You can check it here. It is not floating. This sheet also not floating here. So in the dashboard, when you select any month like June, for the June of 23 we have data, and if I select February of 24, I'll see that pop-up message. And here in the title also I will get the selected month. So quickly I'll show you how to in the selected month. So this is a simple calculation. In the selected month you have to take the text of month and year of the from the date parameter itself. You should not take it from the order date because there is no order date present in the dataset for February 24, so it will be null. You have to take it from the date your parameter only, and then it works like there is no data set. In the May also there is no data. As soon as you switch on to the June, you will see data here. So most important thing while deciding the empty criteria or no data criteria for your dataset is that you have to consider it should be considered based on some primary key. It should not be it should not be like if I select time period like 2025 is there, suppose 2025 is there, and I select 2025 and there is no data, so that is a positive condition. But to to make it positive you have to build it based on some key, some primary key. Like in our case we have built it on the order id. So even if I put some month like okay, I'll show you. I have added for the January month, January 2025. Let's see what happens. So obviously there is no data for the Jan 25 and it shows empty data set because the condition is true there for the emptiness. So that is the most important thing. You have to build it based on some primary key. In our case, it is order ID. So that's all for now. And we can hide all the sheets here. So if you like the video, if you like these tips, please share and subscribe this video. And you can also visit my Tableau public channel. I'll leave that in the description. Thank you.